Well, folks, there's been some interesting fallout from yesterday's news about Hasbro cutting 1,000 jobs from their employee workforce because it seems that the former D&D product lead, Mike Mearls, has been one of those who's been terminated. But we'll get to the specifics of that in just a moment. Of course, I'd like to remind everyone that this video is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde makes the kind of adventures they'd like to play, whether it's for Castles and Crusades, for 5th edition, or for the OSR. Old School is in play at the table with Hellebarde Games, and you can find them on their website at hellebardegames.com or on DriveThruRPG. And of course, folks, I'd like to remind you, please do click that subscribe button. Click the bell icon for notifications if you haven't already done that. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment below and tell us what you think. So, of course, yesterday I released a video, and I'll link to that below, about the 1,000 layoffs that Wizards of the Coast has tendered for many employees. I say Wizards of the Coast, of course. Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast employees have been caught up in that. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, I had heard that D&D product lead for many years, Mike Mearls, had been one of those terminated. So when I went and did some digging, found some interesting information here. Now this tweet here, this literally, I just found this with a web search, is from someone named Olivia Hill. I don't know Olivia Hill. I have no interactions with Olivia Hill, so take this at face value. But here's a couple of tweets on the subject. Olivia Hill says, they finally fired Mike Mearls, which is funny because for nearly a decade, nerds have been telling me he hasn't worked there for years. I don't know to whom Olivia Hill is referring. I knew Mike Mearls was still working at Wizards of the Coast, that they had moved him over to their computer games development department, and that he was no longer active in social media. If you go and you look at his Twitter feed, or if you follow him on Facebook, his most recent posts are years, plural, old. But I knew he was still employed there. And the person she's responding to here, Basilisk Online, says, I feel sorry for anyone who lost their livelihood working for WOTC, which, I mean, that's, hey, same. It's Christmas, and to wake up and find out that one day you have a job and the next day you don't, I don't care who you're working for, that's kind of brutal. My hatred at WOTC has never been about people trying to make a buck however they can. I guess that's the old adage about cashing in versus selling out. Anyone, of course, except Mike Mearls. It wasn't the reasons we wanted, but pack it in, boys, because they did. Hashtag fire Mike Mearls. And, of course, Mike went on social media here and said this. Yes, I was laid off by WOTC. Yes, I'm doing fine and excited by what's to come. And yes, I have a pretty amazing circle of friends. I'm going to take a nap and then get back to the work of forging the future. Hopefully working on your CV and your resume, Mike. So, yeah, I can't shed too many crocodile tears about this, and I'll tell you why. Mike's been kind of a controversial figure, at least as far as I'm concerned. During the development of 5th edition, there was a developer blog where he waxed on about why can't we just unite the tribes? Why can't we just bring everybody in under a big tent? And I was enthusiastic about that. I didn't fully trust it, but I was enthusiastic about that. And he talked about, bringing everybody together, and what if D&D Next, which of course became 5th edition, what if that included controls where a dungeon master could make the game more like AD&D, or more like 3rd edition, or more like even 4th edition, and so on and etc. And none of that came to fruition. And when it became clear that none of that was coming to fruition, his stance was, I never said we'd do that. I just said, what if? Which, you know, that's kind of like saying, hey kids, what if we went to Disney? What if we went to the park? What if we did this? What if we did that? And then you don't do any of it, and you say, well, I never said we would. I just said, what if? I also remember in a similar development blog for the 2014 wooden box, I almost said wood grain, wooden box original D&D set, that he was positively crowing about removing Deb Larson's artwork from the cover of Supplement 3 Eldritch Wizardry because he thought it was in bad taste. And of course, I have stated before in live streams, I've had OD&D artist Tracy Lesh likewise say, you know, you don't, censoring art like that is just, it's awful. But he was also famous for some other fun and interesting tweets, like this one. Funny how many of the same fans who insist on gatekeeping via rules complexity and lore density also have a problem with women in tabletop gaming. Hey guys, you're all fired from D&D. Find another game. Well, to that I say this, Mr. Mearls. I insist on rules complexity and lore density. I have, however, never kept women away from my table, and I'm still here in the D&D hobby, and I'm still creating in the D&D hobby. I'm not just some random gamer, at least I don't think so. You're the one who got fired. So, yeah, that's kind of a little mini overview, at least of my understanding of Mike Mearls and his position. There were even more controversial things that he said on social media, and of course you may be wondering, well, he said them on social media, Bill, so what? Are you having some Twitter drama with this man? And no, I'm not. But he used his position at Wizards of the Coast as a bully pulpit, as a bludgeon, to espouse ideas that are, quite frankly, I don't really care to hear about. I mean, you're welcome to say those, but to use your company's platform as a megaphone, it was really, really a head scratcher. And of course, like the comment, let's see if I can bring this back up. You're all fired from D&D, find another game. Was that the official view of Wizards of the Coast? Or was that just Mike Mearls' very, very, very bad hot take? And I won't share some of the other things. He's deleted a lot. You won't find that tweet on his timeline, which, again, is very, very sparse. I think probably someone at Wizards of the Coast sat him down and said, don't tweet anymore. Because he certainly stopped tweeting anything that wasn't at least a little bit game-related. Or, who knows, maybe he was just too busy doing other things. But anyway, and I mentioned this to you, this termination, because, again, this is a guy who came into the development of 5e with this idea of, we'll unite all the tribes. And he had his hands all over the Woodbox OD&D re-release and so on and etc. So I thought it would be at least of a little bit of interest to the old school crowd, or at least industry watchers. But I want to know what you guys think. I mean, is someone worse going to step into Mike Mearls' shoes? I mean, being 100% honest, I'm not a Kyle Brink fan, nor Chris Cox, nor Cynthia Williams, so who knows who they got in the slot next to fill that role. But I want to hear from you guys, so please do leave a comment below. And again, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up And if you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down and tell me why. I don't celebrate this man losing his job, but I do think probably it may be the Dungeons and Dragons is better served with someone else in his role. But of course, that's for you to decide. So until then, guys, keep your character sheets close and your dice rolls behind the DM screen. Peace, and I'll see you all in the next video.